Are you bad with money? Well, in this video, I put together 6 signs that indicate if you do them, you probably are bad with money. Now, I can already see people typing in the comments, well, I did this like 5 years ago, this doesn't make me... It's not that serious, all right? These aren't concrete things that if you do them, it means you're bad with money. It's just a sign, all right? Like the movie. Again, these signs are just markers to say that if you do them, they probably indicate that you're not doing the right things with your money, all right? And that's it. These items aren't gonna be like, Chase's infinite money glitch.
And I need you, and I miss you, and now I wonder.
I can't even believe that one was real. I kind of want to do a video on it, but I feel like by the time I do it, it's going to be irrelevant. All those people who did it are going to be, minus 30 grand in the hole, and people are going to forget about it. But those people won't who did it. It's not going to be like that, although some are straightforward and some are not as straightforward. So, I put these together for all kinds of different people. Now, without further ado, let's start on number 1. Carrying a balance on a credit card. This one's pretty cut and dry. If you carry a credit card balance, this one almost isn't a sign. This one is just a fact. You're just not good with money. According to Bankrate, 1/2 of American credit card holders carry a credit card balance from month to month. Half the people in America are trying to swim upstream by doing this. You cannot get ahead if you're carrying a balance. All right, the average credit card balance is 22.76%, according to the Federal Reserve. If you are carrying that balance and you're paying that interest every month, you just aren't gonna get ahead. I mean, this one's pretty easy. This one's cut and dry. And what I also thought was interesting was that 58% of cardholders earning under 50 grand carry a balance month to month, and 43% earning 100 grand or more a year are carrying a credit card balance. So what that tells me is that people just aren't putting it in the right spot. It doesn't drop by the amount that I would think it would, right? 58 to 43. You would think people making 100 grand or more. I mean, that could be 200 grand. That percentage doesn't drop as much as I'd think. And that's because people don't spend their money right. They are bad with money, right? They don't have that discipline to put it in the right places. All right, sign number 2 that you're bad with money: not subscribing to the channel. I'm just kidding. But thank you to those who have subscribed. Liking and commenting and subscribing really helps the channel. So I really appreciate it if you guys do one of the 3 or all 3. All 3 are welcomed. But if you get to the end of this video and you see one that I missed, feel free to comment and I'll read them and respond as it goes. So, all right, the real number 2, not saving for retirement, not investing, and not having your money work for you. As the money guys say, you want your army of dollar bills to be working for you.
I want you to think about what every dollar has the potential to become. When I talk about your army of dollar bills, here's what we're going to say for number 3 is your money should work harder than you do.
Now, this one is opposite to the credit card one, because in the credit card one, carrying a balance, your dollar bills are working against you. This one, all your money is working for you, all right? And you want to do this early so that, you have time for it to accumulate and snowball upwards instead of downwards. So these two kind of go hand in hand, the first two. According to the Federal Reserve, 54% of all families don't have retirement accounts. Although I think it's really good and you absolutely should have a retirement account, whether that's a 401k or Roth IRA, HSA. Those are all tax advantage, so those will benefit you tremendously. Some form of investing, and we can argue on, what are good investments and what are bad, but in general, some general investing in a retirement account is probably and is what you should be doing. So if you don't have that, if you're not planning for the future, it's a sign you're bad with money, all right? Sign number 3, avoiding looking at your finances. If you have anxiety and you avoid looking at your checkings, your savings, your debts, especially your debts too, then, that's a huge sign, a huge red flag that you're just not good with money. Now, it's okay to have those fears, but ultimately it's going to lead to worse decisions. If you don't have the info, if you don't know where you're standing, how can you make good decisions? It just makes it almost impossible. So if you're not looking at this stuff, at least weekly, do a check-in. See how much you're paying interest each month. I guarantee if you look at that stuff, you'll have a lot less anxiety. So by avoiding this stuff, it just makes it worse, and it's a huge sign that you are bad with money. Now, let's take a look at this lady that I found on Caleb, one of his more recent ones, and let's see what not looking at your finances looks like.
Well, with the PayPal, at the current rate you're paying, it's going to take 18 years to pay it off. 18 years.
To pay off $4,000?
But again, let's gamble instead.
No.
Yes, by the way you're doing it, the payments you're putting towards it, yes, that's how long it takes.
What? 18 years for $4,000?
Yeah, because you're only putting the minimum towards it. It's basically a 30% interest rate.
That math doesn't seem right.
Take a look at it. It literally tells you. There it is. 18 years, only paying the minimum payment. It's like literally right on there. It's literally on the, if you ever looked at a statement, you would see it.
No, I don't ever. I just look at
it's time to start looking.
Yeah, it's like an eye-opening thing. The more people that look at this stuff, the more people that look at their personal finances, the less anxiety they're going to have. So there's number 3. Number 4, we're going to keep it on with the anxiety. We're on the anxiety train right now. This one is a little different. This one's more interesting than all the others, I think. This one is if you have anxiety towards spending smaller purchases, $10, $20, and you are very, very wealthy, and you still are having this anxiety over smaller items, that's a sign you're just bad with money. Let me explain. I watched this show with Ramit. His channel is I Will Teach You to Be Rich. Now, on this show, he does sort of a Caleb Hammer financial audit. And a lot of times on it's people in really, really good situations, people who are very, very wealthy and who have a lot of pressure and anxiety about spending even like small little things at the grocery store. I think if that's you don't have a healthy relationship with money. It's a sign that you're just bad with money in that you're not understanding the situation you're in, the financial situation you're in, and it's having negative emotions towards that without really understanding the picture, without taking a step back and understanding where you're at. Number 5, this one's a little more cut and dry, not having an emergency fund. More than 1 in 3 workers say they're living paycheck to paycheck. 1 in 3. And I've seen a lot higher numbers. I mean, there's kind of numbers all over the place in this one. I even picked like one of the lowest numbers, but 1/3 of people have no savings. And that jumps even higher when you look at how 6 in 10 Americans are uncomfortable with their level of emergency savings. Now, this one's pretty simple to understand if you don't have an emergency fund, if you are not ready for something, car breaking down, medical emergency. If you don't have this cushion, you are going to be forced to make bad financial decisions. So say it with me, not having an emergency fund is an emergency. I see this on Caleb a lot. These people...
I had to get a new HVAC.
So let me guess, you didn't have an emergency fund.
No.
So let me guess, you were going on vacations instead of having an emergency fund.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, no, you cannot afford a vacation. If you do not have an emergency fund that is able to cover things like a brand new HVAC thing, then no, you cannot afford to go on a vacation. It's as simple as that, because not having an emergency fund is an emergency, and it shows here why, because now you're paying 10% on it, which means they're guaranteeing a 10% return on their investment to giving you this debt because you wanted to do this. And you purchased a home without having an emergency fund, that's a recipe for disaster.
Box themselves into certain situations. They weren't prepared for things that happen. You hear a lot of this. You hear, well, I had to get this car because my credit was so bad. I had to get this car because I couldn't do a down payment. I had to do this. I had to do that. And a lot of that stemmed down to not planning and not being diligent in the past leading up to what's going on. If they had an emergency fund, they wouldn't have to put that on a credit card. And number 6, the last one, this one is maybe the most common. It's having a car payment that's over 10 to 15% of your take-home pay, and or if your term for your car loan is more than 3 or 4 years. Now, a car is a depreciating asset for one. You know, as it goes, it loses value, and that's okay. We need cars, especially in America here. We need cars to get around. I'm not faulting you for having a car, but I will fault you for having a car that's too expensive for you. The term length is also a big one, because a lot of people will say, well, it is less. I mean, it's like less than 15. Well, what's your loan term? Oh, it's 84 months. Nope, that doesn't count. Especially now, I mean, car prices have exploded, and yes, they're coming back down, but it is harder and harder to get a car that's $5,000 or even 10 grand. But those cars, if you get them reliable, are way better than cars that I see people getting that are 30 and 40 grand when they only make 50 or 60. So that's the end. How many did you do? All right, I don't know. I think I counted on these. I don't think I have any of these. So I guess that means I'm good with money. I don't know. Again, these are just signs, right? It's a sign to look into it. All right. So if you're doing 1, 2, or more of these, it is a sign that maybe you should go look at your debts. Maybe you should see how much you're spending on your car. All right. Build your emergency fund up. So I think these are all good things to do. And hopefully this video may open your eyes, like that lady on Caleb, as to some things that you probably should look into. All right. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Like I said, it helps out the channel. I have new videos coming out. Comment down below. Did I miss one? Did I miss a sign? I'm sure there's a couple. I think that I was going to do an honorable mention. Like if you do buy now, pay later, like Affirm and stuff. I did do a video on that one, so you can go check that one out after this. But there's a couple ones that I probably miss. And in fact, there's probably a lot that I missed. So if I miss one, comment down below. Tell me which ones and I'll respond to them. And have a good day.